Hi folks, welcome to English 1021. I'm Dr. Rachel McWhorter, you can just call me Rachel, and I'll be your instructor this semester. This is going to be just a quick video to help you navigate our course page, especially if D2L is a little bit newer for you. And really for all of us, it's in a slightly different format than we had it last spring. So here on the welcome page, by now you'll have the first day announcement. I'm doing these a little in advance of seeing y'all in here. But always check the announcements. They should come to you via email as well. They will come out at least every Monday, sometimes a little more frequently, but each Monday I'll get a heads up and reminder of what's up on deck for that week. Also over here on the left-hand side, you can find out all the ways to reach me, which you can email me, you can stop by my office on West Campus in 3352. You can also join me, probably most helpful for those of you online here, the Zoom office hours. So I'm going to be in person Tuesday, Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30, following a class I teach. And I'm also available online Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. I can meet via Zoom any of those times, and also if those times don't work, please don't hesitate to email me right here, and we can set up an appointment. No problems. I also want to draw your attention, this will be in the opening pages, but something called Mantra Services. It's an excellent opportunity Century offers its students for a certain number of free mental health service visits with therapists, so it's worth checking out. I have a little bit more of it in the opening page, but just to draw your attention, I've got a library widget there with some important contacts, and also any tech support issues you might have. This is a great place to start. Okay, so forgive my fast scrolling, but the main thing you're going to look for, you're going to have a link to this in your announcement, but I'm also going to show you where the opening pages can be reached. So, and again, these might look a little different to you, working on these here. But our content pages unfold like this. They're pretty nested now in D2L. So what we're going to do week 1, welcome, start here. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward. You'll jump into these. And then over here, you see the arrow key just to progress to the next pages. You can also see, you see how these are nested menus, all the pages. So if I hit the next arrow here, I'm going to jump to the course description, but you're also able to move around freely clicking on these links. So this week, you'll really put your focus into this first week, as you would guess, week 1 here, and reading all of these pages. Hopefully they will orient you with answer any questions you might have about how the course is laid out, the expectations, the whole sort of overarching ideas that guide our course, the philosophy I bring to the table as your professor. I also go over things like our major essay assignments, what those will look like. We have 3 major units, each ending in 1 major essay, and the different other smaller assignments that we'll be doing that have more description here. I also have a few pages to draw attention for you here, as this is an ever-growing part of our world in education. I have an AI policy where we have certain assignments where AI will be welcome. You just have to make sure that you cite it correctly with MLA. These will be things like brainstorming activities or places where you come up with questions to write to broaden your research for an essay. But most of our main pieces you will find, of course, do prohibit AI. And I have images, as you'll see here, that will be included with each of those assignments, just so that we're clear on that. As far as course text, if you checked out the announcement, you don't need to purchase anything extra for our course. Everything that you'll be using is here on D2L or in Perusall, which you'll find out more about here. It's an external tool that we use at Century. It's really cool because you are able to read the writings on the page and then you highlight, leave notes, and interact rather than doing a traditional discussion post. And you get to interact with your classmates there. So that's how we'll be doing quite a few of our outside reading. Actually, all of our outside readings. We do have some discussion posts, but those will be a little different. All right, and then at the end, you'll see the 2 assignments. I'd also draw your attention back. The first page for each week will be no different than this, and that I'll remind you what is due, and it should be hyperlinked. But you'll also always be able to find it right in here. And this week, it'll simply be to post to our introductory discussion, and the instructions are there, pretty self-explanatory, but the hope is that you get to share more parts of yourself than just, I am a digital version of myself as a student in a comp class, but like you do other things and we want to know. That makes it interesting. So it's our 7 nouns activity, and there is an intro quiz. Now, please don't panic. These quizzes are literally the best opportunity to make 100% and start out on the right foot. All quizzes I have, which I believe will be limited to this intro quiz, and then some quizzes in Unit 3 from the library on our research process, will always allow for unlimited attempts, and they are untimed. So my hope is for everyone to get 100 on those. There's really no reason not to. As long as you finish them before their deadline, you can take them as many times as you want and take as long as you want to look up answers, etc. I simply want you to be able to navigate our pages, and these questions are to make sure you kind of have a handle on how our course flows. It'll just make it easier for you. All right. Then just to give you an example of how a more traditional unit looks, Unit 1, which will start officially next week, week 2 of the course, is laid out like this. We'll have an overview page about the main idea. This one's called Becoming a Writer, and our primary essay is the personal narrative essay. You'll also have the specific essay assignment, so you'll be able to know this is what I'm going to be finishing by the end of this unit. We'll be doing pieces towards it, and it's not due until September 28th. So we have over a month from now, but it's nice to have it, I think, at the forefront of your mind. You'll also have the rubric. This will be identical to the one where you drop off your assignment, but I think it's helpful for students to see that. I also have a template for a reminder of what an MLA essay looks like. And there's also, within this first unit, we have a page dedicated to MLA. So don't worry about that. And then you'll see within units, hopefully this is pretty self-explanatory, but because it is a bit different than D2L was last spring, I want to make sure it's clear. I have made each week, except for our first week, which is different. They're nested within their units. So see, now I can click on, week 2. I see what's due there. I get a little intro. I've got the hyperlink things with the dates. All right. And this will progress. All of these weeks through week 5 are in Unit 1. And then you see in that last week, for instance, you were able to submit your final essay. And then we progress to essay 2. That unit will be closed until we get a little bit closer. I do open it about a week, as you see there, before the deadline for folks who are working ahead or want to get a little ahead and give their writing a break as you work on the final. Now, a couple of things too I have glossed is your syllabus. That will be the second hit in the opening week. Please do take a look at it. I've also added a link in our nav bar up here that will go to the syllabus as well, the identical page. So feel free to download that. If we make any schedule changes, I will always make sure to change it in here. Now, a lot of the policies are duplicated in these opening pages. I will be honest, the opening pages in week 1 are more content extensive than the syllabus. I try to keep the syllabus a little bit smaller, but it still has a lot of stuff. And I follow the college's template just for your ease, so hopefully you can navigate it. It looks pretty familiar to you. I'm going to scoot through. Oh, I do want to mention this while I'm here. Please know that you are able to check out laptops on our campus. If you don't have one, I would really recommend getting a hold of that. Also, if you haven't yet, you are able to download on up to 5 devices Microsoft 365 because you're a student here at Century. And I gotta fix that. That should be, I don't know why there's a accent, is that a grave on French? Anyway, that needs fixing. We're always revising, right? But this is such a cool opportunity. Really, I would encourage you to get this. This used to cost hundreds when I was a student, and now it comes with being a student, and it really helps you. You'll have Word and PowerPoint and Excel. You don't need that in here, but it may be useful in your other courses. Let's keep going. We are online. So being here, being around is important. I would definitely make it an ideal goal to check most weekdays, if not all. Our main 2 days for due dates are Mondays and Thursdays, always by 11:59 p.m. local Twin Cities time, Central time. So you can get into a nice rhythm with that. And as I said, each Monday I'll send you an announcement and remind you, and that will be the day something is due, and then typically the coming Thursday. Not every Monday and Thursday, but only Monday and Thursdays, if that makes sense. I've mentioned the AI policy in passing. There's a little bit, again, here replicating that idea that we do have some assignments in which it is permitted, and I've linked where you will go to cite it in MLA. It's not too tricky. We'll talk more about what this means here, but it's important that when we do use any kind of generative AI, and again, it's always optional for goodness sakes, but in some cases it's permitted, you need to cite it just as you would if you were to get ideas from somebody else. Otherwise, it is a kind of plagiarism or claiming it as your own. All right, and this is the process. Again, I don't really like to come down hard on this before we get together. I am not here to be a cop and to police your work. It honestly makes me sad to feel that I have to go looking for that, because trust is such a foundation of any community, and our classroom is one. And online, it's particularly tricky because we only interact, for the most part, in typed form. So that's the only version of your voice I typically encounter. Don't have to, though. You can come to office hours by all means. But I really do try to make our first encounter with this, if we have one, educational. So it's sort of like, hey, this seems to be coming up, flagging AI. I'm curious. Can you help me know more about your process or why this might be? Things like Grammarly triggers the AI thing. And also, I know Turnitin and all these other features that we have are far from foolproof. They're not always correct. And I hope you'll understand I feel my responsibility to reach out every time on these cases, but then we progress and make a plan based on your and my discussion and your individual situation. So I'm not just out here looking to call you out. In fact, I would love it if I didn't have to worry about it. But to preserve the integrity of the course and the hard work of your fellow classmates, I will, of course, look into it. We'll talk about it. If it proceeds or progresses or just keeps being a problem, then you are going to be in danger of failing the course, as it would make sense. But like I said, I'm not here to try to catch you. I'm just here to try to help you do your best authentic work. And that means using AI only with certain boundaries that we've set up and being very open about when you do. All right, our course is a weighted class, meaning we have 3 primary grade categories. You'll find out more about which things fall under that, but just so you get a sense of that, it's not just points, but that certain activities do get weighted greater towards your final grade. These are all important policies. I'm not going to go over them. They are Century College-wide, but please, if you feel like you need any assistance or any concerns about things, check this out, reach out, shoot me an email, contact the contacts in here, whatever it takes. That's very important. And I want you to feel, safe and welcome and have what you need to succeed in this course. All right. The last part I will draw your attention to is our assignment schedule for the course. I'm usually very good about sticking with these, so you can, for the most part, plan out your full semester based off the schedule that we have here. A few small things. We do have a deadline still on Labor Day. It's a little tricky for me because I do the Monday-Thursday split, but I absolutely acknowledge Labor Day is a pretty hallowed thing and it didn't come by as easily. So if you would like to try to get that out of the way, that is just a reply to a discussion, which those should be up by Thursday. So you're welcome to get those done and out of the way early. I just want to establish our rhythm early on, and it's disruptive to cancel that Monday so early on. So Monday, Thursdays, as I said, will be our primary time, all 11:59 p.m. We've got our units mapped out. You can read the middle of the main focus that we'll have and look for the assignments that will be due, again, by 11:59 p.m. to D2L in those dates provided. All right. That's all that I have planned for y'all today. I'm genuinely excited to start this semester off with you. Fall is so exciting to me. I love how school gives us seasons, truly, or honors the seasons that we really have in a way other kinds of work and life experiences don't. And I think that's so important. So look forward to getting to know y'all in our intro post. And as always, if you want to stop by, again, I'm going to scroll down to it, my office hours, or schedule a Zoom meeting or pop into one of those. I would love to talk to you in person and just say, hey, have a wonderful first day, first week back, and I'll see you on the discussion board.